with Mark Haan.
Welcome to Inebriated Insights, everyone. I'm your host, Mark Haan. Joining me, very talented comedians Dave Stratton, Christine Tarbet, and Maynard Okereke. How's it going, guys?
It's going great, ma'am.
Now,
It's terrible.
You upset?
I
I'm
mean,
good.
compared to other years, every week is terrible,
Yeah.
isn't it?
It's on the
Yeah.
upswing, though. We got that vaccine coming in, so
Oh no, it's
Slate
up
it.
from horrific.
yeah, we're
Yeah.
almost in the orange tier. Like red tier. We're almost in the red tier. So
Red tier.
It needs to
This
be.
is it's like a flashback to the terrorism alerts after 9/11.
Yeah.
So it just feels really familiar and cozy.
I almost forgot
Yeah.
about those.
Oh, yeah. The threat
So,
levels. Every
threat levels.
every military base that you go into still has that out front. What threat level we're on, but now
I have it in my front door
Yeah,
too,
yeah, what's
actually.
Yeah,
level
it used to be like on
Christine's on.
all our fridges, though.
Yeah,
Do you remember?
Yeah, it was a
The
big
color of
deal.
it?
And-
As though we could fucking do anything about it anyway.
Yeah. It's so weird. Like, it was such an arbitrary. Like, I feel like if we were really a threat, would we really know it though? Like, how much would we know if we're truly a threat? Would it be that obvious that we're at a threat? Like, it's red alert. We've heard them saying they're about to destroy us all.
Yeah, and
You
what
know?
would you
Well,
do differently? Like you're like,
yeah.
well, I gotta get my pitchfork out, or just like you have to look out more for more terrorists out there. So I don't know.
And would U.S. intelligence in Pakistan like wire us at like on our? I guess we didn't have smartphones back then, but through the internet and be like, guys, we just found this thing out.
Yeah, no, probably
No,
not.
probably not.
If we hit red, we'd know it's really bad because that would mean, that the government knows something, and what they do know is probably only half of what is real.
Yeah, I wouldn't tell
But that's
you.
the other thing too. Why would they tell us if
No.
if it was a red alert? Then that means like there's an imminent attack. Do they want us to panic if things are at red alert? Like, what do they gain? What do we even gain from that? From
Yeah, no,
knowing
they
red
wouldn't
alert?
even tell us because they wouldn't
Grab
want
our
us to- There you
AK-47s, I
go.
guess. And
Yeah.
Whenever they say red
All right.
alert, I always think of Star Trek. It's red alert. Burp, burp, burp. So
What a nerd.
yeah, no, I don't. I never liked Star Trek. It was just my dad. I was always a Star Wars guy.
2001, what a trip.
Yeah.
So Dave, what's our drinking word tonight?
We're gonna say anything voting or vote, anything with the V
Anything
word.
voting
in it.
related?
Voting related.
B word.
And so we will all take a sip of our beverages of choice. And right now, Maynard, what are you drinking? Gatorade?
This little tequila,
Oh.
tequila mixture.
Okay, very nice, very nice. I just saw the blue, and I'm just like, it doesn't look good, but it's all right. Here we go. We're gonna chug, everybody. All right, enough of
I
that.
like how it was just on Dave the whole time. Everyone's like, watch him drink his life away.
Oh, well, the
On his birthday. Happy birthday,
Yeah, it's my
Dave.
Happy
birthday,
birthday!
Can we do a
Dave!
happy birthday to you?
There you
Happy
go.
birthday to
ya.
ya.
Like that. All right. Hey, you guys are the
And-
first ones to sing happy birthday to me, so that's pretty happy.
In celebration of Dave's birthday, last week, House Democrats passed President Biden's American Rescue Plan.
Ooh, well, happy
This
birthday to me.
week, happy birthday to Dave, giving you that stimulus check.
Ooh, yeah.
But this week, the bill has already gone through changes in the Senate. After the Senate parliamentarian, who's literally just some random fucking person who has no power, can be overruled at any time.
But wait, what is the
Well, this
person's
amend-
name, by the way? Is it they don't have a name?
I would have to Google it because
Oh.
it doesn't matter, because any rule that they come up with can be overruled by a majority. So I haven't bothered to learn their name. Anyway, they ruled that the $15 minimum wage could not be passed through budget reconciliation. After that, Democrats abandoned any attempts to keep it in the bill, even, I believe, a tax penalty for Fortune 1000 companies who weren't going to pay their employees $15 an hour. And upon objections by more moderate Senate Democrats like Manchin and Sinema, who can't get with the fucking program for whatever reason, eligibility for the full stimulus payment of $1,400 was narrowed down. As AOC adeptly pointed out, that means that Trump would be giving more people money than Biden, which is a great political message. Christine, do you have confidence that Democrats will get this thing over the goal line? And are you worried it could get more watered down before they do?
I think that this particular stimulus package will get watered down. I think this will probably pass. They'll get it over the goal line. I just think in terms of the $15 minimum wage, first of all, what you have is you have two parties where the Republicans are now the fascists and the Democrats are actually old school Republicans. They don't actually really care or even want to pass.
But according to the Republicans, they are communists. They're like
right, exactly.
Marxist communists from like the early 1900s that just wanted to just demolish all government and just have the people rule themselves, which, you know, is what the GOP really originally stood for, but whatever. Sorry, Christine.
It's okay. I don't know where I was going with that. No. No, so they don't really want to pass it. So this is actually kind of good for them, but I mean, good in the sense that they don't care to pass it. And except for sort of the small number of progressives. And they don't do what the Republicans do, which is to kind of bite the bullet and keep power any way they can. It would be such an easy thing to give the $15 to people because people like when you do stuff for them. It would be a great political move and the right thing to do, because $15 in most areas of the country is not that much money either.
No.
And it's so disingenuous that it's disgusting that Mitt Romney was arguing $10 an hour is enough. $10. That's what he thought. Which, you know, that he knows that that's not true, but he's hoping that their very sort of older voting base goes, I remember when I made $3 an hour in 19 dickety do. And they don't need it now because they haven't had to pay rent and they don't drive anymore and they haven't bought clothes in a pretty penny or in a pretty minute. So they're just kind of playing to those people who don't actually know what's going on. Because none of them, you know, they're all beholden to corporate interests. But I do think probably this semblance of the bill will get passed with the Senate changes, which means less people are going to get $1,400 than the House wanted to give. Yeah. They are going to tick up the unemployment an extra $100 a week. So lucky me. But I mean, they could have really kind of done something at least a little bit more impactful. And instead, they are just going to continue down the same old road and probably lose people that they could have gained from the Trump supporters, not the crazy Trump supporters, but sort of the more blue collar-y Trump supporters. And I think, you know, they always say all of us have, you know, more in common with each other than we don't, which I believe is true. But I also believe that the things we don't have in common with each other are very big things, and they play on that. And that's why we can never get together and force them to give us things like $15 an hour, which is not that much money to begin with. No. So I hope that answered your question.
There is still a lot of good things in the bill. I mean, it would cut child poverty in half.
Yes.
Just one of those things. So I don't want to get too down on them. But yeah, it's just like, I mean, Maynard, don't you think that Democrats would be better off electorally if they could pass things that were just easy to understand and very popular, like the $15 minimum wage?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a problem in general with everything. Like we overcomplicate things in so many different ways, right? Way overcomplicate things, and I think it ties into later when we're going to the the V word suppression later on.
Vote? That's the point of
it.
this.
You still referenced it, so it counts.
I thought I can mention it without actually saying it, but okay.
No, there are no loopholes here, my friend.
The point of this is to get drunk and then and then be incoherent by the end of the show and not be able to
right
talk about politics anymore.
But no, making things way too convoluted, and I think that's when we start getting down those stress lines where people want to they'll go down bipartisan lines, and you're already on the fence. Then you're already going to get pushed over to that fence a little bit more too by by kind of going this back and forth. So I think we need to stop teetering and really get serious and really get more defined when we're trying to get past these different things through in legislation. And more defined that we can be, the simpler that we can make this process. And I think that in general, I think for just the American public, because I come from a perspective where I'm not going to be the most in-depth into the nuances, but I know for something like minimum wage, especially with communities of color, we know directly how that affects us. We know how that affects our communities, how that affects our parents, people that are still kind of working in regular hardworking jobs. We know how that directly impacts them in different ways. And so the simpler we can make this and really have that understanding, especially within the communities that are actually being affected, then I think that the better. And that kind of goes in a lot of different areas that we'll talk about today too.
Yeah, like $15 an hour is easy to understand.
Yeah.
And it's easy. It's a great message.
Yeah.
We gave you $15 an hour. We gave you $15 an hour. And instead it's like, wow, we made the cap for the child, blah, blah, blah.
Well, it's
and
like, Seattle's doing $15 an hour. All of Washington's doing $15 an hour. Is there any complaints there?
As well as LA and New York.
Yeah, it's like, it's not like our economy's going down the toilet. It's people are prospering. It's just everybody gets a bigger piece of the pie. Like, what the fuck is the big deal about that? It's not a big deal. It's Republicans just think, oh, prices are gonna go up, deflation's gonna go out of control. It's already out of control, and guess what? People aren't making enough money to combat deflation, or inflation, not deflation. So if you go ahead and just raise people's wages just a little bit, because $15 isn't going to pay for shit here in LA. I mean, like, just
even $15 here in LA, that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
I could understand 15 a lot of other places, but here,
I mean, you would be able to live comfortably in like Podunk, Utah, or something like that, middle of nowhere, Nebraska. But not
beautiful places. I vacation.
I love middle of nowhere, Nebraska. It's just flat corn. Smells like shit.
The ideal solution would be a wage calibrated minimum wage based on the cost of living of each city or each state. So it could be higher than 15 in certain places or lower than 15 in certain places if that was reflective of the median income. But again, that would be way too complicated, and it's much easier to just understand $15 an hour.
And I think too, there should be some sort of law passed where a CEO of a publicly traded company cannot make X times their lowest paid worker. Cannot be making 300 times your lowest paid worker. Like that's to me, that's it never.
Did you say specifically if you're publicly traded?
Well, I think that's a good place to start. You know what I mean? Because there's a little bit more of that accountability, but
and transparency.
Yeah, and transparency and all of that. Whereas it's a little bit harder, I think, to kind of do that with privately owned companies. But I think that because it never the gap between what a CEO makes and the lowest paid worker has grown exponentially in the past X number of years, like 10 years or so, or maybe 20 years.
But trickle down economics works, I tell you. Like, it just keep on raising the more wealthy people, and then everybody below them is not going to create a wage warcraft.
I know. How much have you drank before we started?
Way too much. It's my birthday.
It's his birthday.
I know.
Should be already faded.
No, I was already drunk, and then I sobered up, and now I'm drinking again. So,
Boot and rally.
There you go.
Wage of Warcraft would be a great name for this episode if we hadn't named it already. Let's move on to our next segment.
All right, here we go, everybody. Oh, God.
In response to over 250 voter suppression bills being proposed by Republicans in state legislatures across 43 states, House Democrats passed H.R. 1, a bill that would mandate no excuse absentee voting, extending early voting to no less than 15 days before the election, limit the influence of dark money in politics, and end partisan gerrymandering, among other things. In response, recently almost murdered man Mike Pence wrote an op-ed about how they were trying to make it so that illegal immigrants could vote. But that's a little bit of a digression from what we're going to talk about. Yeah.
Oh, B word.
Biden has said he's excited to sign the bill into law, but it faces an uphill battle in the Senate, as Democrats would either have to fully abolish the filibuster or amend it in some way for the bill to pass. If the bill doesn't pass, it's not hard to envision a scenario where Democrats are in the minority for at least the next decade, or honestly, maybe forever, because it could spiral where these state laws are passed and then Republicans get power on the federal level and then they pass them on the federal level, so on and so forth. Maynard, do you feel confident that Schumer and the rest of the Democratic caucus can find a way to get Senators Manchin and Sinema on board with some kind of filibuster reform so that this thing can get passed?
Oh man, do I feel? Well, first, I want to talk first about these movements right now. These voter suppression. Well, oh, jeez, I said it.
There you
I
go. Drink it up.
All right, these elements of suppression that have been added. I mean, there's so much to overcome already, right? And I think that's the main problem. There's so much to overcome already at this stage. And I think as far as my confidence level, I would say it's at a 0 at this point. Are we gonna Are we rating? Are we rating it?
Sure.
Is that far off from where you're at?
I think that's a fair.
I'm a bit more confident.
I think that's
slightly
fair.
more confident.
Well,
Yeah,
I feel
than
that
zero.
if we don't hit, dude, Manchin said that there's no way he's going to end the filibuster. There's nothing that nobody's going to convince him to vote to end the filibuster.
He seems pretty headstrong, right?
Yeah. And so if the filibuster's not done, like, there's no way the Dems are going to pass this bill in the Senate. There's just no way. Like, no Republican's going to say, yes, let's end gerrymandering, because they know that's the only way that they're in power in the Senate and in the House. Like, that's the only way they're getting votes in the House.
And they've made it perfectly obvious. They blatantly came out and stated it all along that is their intent, that they know that their party is going to pretty much be eradicated if they let that go. So we already know what's at stake. They said that
in the Supreme Court. Mm-hmm. By the way, they said that to Amy Coney Barrett when she asked them why they were why they were supporting a voter suppression bill in Arizona, and they said because it would put us at a competitive disadvantage if more people could vote. But anyway, so Maynard, do you want to go back to that point you were making about voter suppression?
Yeah. So I guess I'm good with
Go for it.
I was saying, because there's already so much to overcome, right? The battle, like we said, the Republicans already had strong. They know specifically what they're doing, right? And they sugarcoating anything at this point, right? So there's already so much to overcome at this stage. And so I think my confidence level being at a 0 right now is really because I think right now, especially Joe, I think with the process of what he's trying to do, I think it's kind of already lost. I think he's over that fence. I think at this point he doesn't want to coincide with anything that's going to happen in regards to this. I mean, what was the last thing that they just rejected with what's her face coming on board? What's her name? It's passing me right now. That she was going to be heading the budget
OMB
committee
director. Yeah.
Right. It's like new budget. I think she was going to be head of the new budget committee. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Office of Budget.
And he's adamantly against bringing her on board at this stage, and that's in contrast to what everybody else is pushing at this moment. And so I think right now at this stage he doesn't want to budge on anything, and if he budges on this, then it's going to make his stance on everything else look weakened. And so that's why my confidence level is at a 0 at this stage.
Neera
Michael?
Tanden. I looked up her name because
There
I
we
couldn't
go.
remember
Neera.
either.
Mere tendon. Yes.
My
Neera.
confidence is a little bit higher, and I'll just tell you why. In 2013, every Senate Democrat said, no way, we're not going to amend the filibuster rules for judicial nominees or cabinet nominees. There's no way that we're going to do that. And then Mitch McConnell tried to filibuster Obama's labor secretary and his EPA director, and all of them, including Joe Manchin, who was in the Senate at the time, amended the filibuster rules to change that so that he could confirm his nominees. So I think, I don't know, I could be wrong. This could be a little bit like I'm in West Virginia. I have to play this game. I have to buck my party sometimes. But at the end of the day, I'm a company man and I'll figure a way to spin this. I could be wrong, but that might be what's happening here.
Well, I mean, if you don't actually vote on like these cabinet members, like you just can't sit here and like you have to vote for somebody. Somebody's got to be in power. I mean, has the Senate ever not like voted on a cabinet member and put them on the cabinet? You know, it's like,
Yeah.
when was the last time you remember that? Like every time, and like
It
Trump's
happens all the
awful
time.
fucking picks. Trump's awful fucking picks, and they
He made them, for a lot of his nominees, he just made them like acting whatever.
Yeah,
because
they
you
were just
can-
acting.
Yeah.
NASA, the head of NASA was acting the whole time.
Yeah.
So never confirmed or just an
Right,
acting.
He was just the
Yeah.
acting director of NASA.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I am wrong.
So I guess I told you, Dave.
I am
so
way
get the
wrong.
hell out of here.
Yeah. All right. I'm out. Sorry.
So
you know,
anyway,
I have
That's why I'm more optimistic.
I have a my beef about this whole thing is that I think the sin is when the founders of the Constitution made it, like it was a good idea, but I feel that they just didn't realize how large this country would be and how large these states would be. And so what pisses me off is that the county of Los Angeles has 10 million people in it, and we represent like a fraction of one senator in our state, and we have more people than 30 states combined, something like that.
Well, Dave.
Yes, I know, the House of Representatives.
No. I'm saying that for California is the equivalent of, I just saw this, 23 states.
Mm-hmm.
So we have 2 senators, and they have at the same population numbers have 46.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
That's
Based on
huge
population.
It's really
Yeah,
fucked up.
based on population.
And so, like the Republican senators, they represent, I can't remember the numbers, but something like 7 million less people than the Democrat senators, and it's just like
I
I
think
don't
it
know.
may be as much as like 16.
16
if I remember
million?
right, like 16 million.
I
more.
mean, it's there needs to be something to level the playing field, and the Republicans know that if this HR1 passes, they'll never be in power, and like it's. But what
which
you're
would
doing,
be awesome.
which would be awesome because you would actually have a real voice of the people. Like you have these people, like the minority is having the majority of the like voice in this country, and I don't know about you, but I'm fucking tired of it. Like I don't feel the same way as all these people in the great American plains state, the flyover states that seem to control everything that happens in the last 4 years. It just drives me crazy, man.
Yeah, I'm so sick of Wyoming.
Yeah. I mean, Long Beach, California has
Wyoming.
more people in it than Wyoming has. I mean, Long Beach.
Seriously.
Yeah.
I want everyone to
Dude,
know
North
that
Hollywood.
the position of this show is that Wyoming can fuck off all of the people.
Yeah.
That is the
That always
official
brings up
position.
that always brings up a fun debate of if they always say which one's got to go. We can do like what regions of the U.S. can go.
But Manchin's got
we
to
can
realize...
do away with all the Dakotas.
Yeah.
The Dakotas can go.
But like Manchin's got to know right now that if he does not eliminate the filibuster, like we're gonna be fucked. Like I mean, like you were saying, Mark, it could be a decade, it could be a lifetime. Like,
Could be forever.
we at this moment right now, this HR1 bill, like we have to get rid of the filibuster and we have to pass it because voting is the one fundamental right that we have as U.S. citizens. Like we think that we're free and we have all these rights. Like we really don't vote. Thank you. We really don't. Like, I mean, we're very limited on what we can do. I can't just walk down the street naked, and I can't just, start shooting a gun out.
Technically, you can.
But I mean, I get arrested. So, but
you don't get caught if you don't get.
If you don't caught.
I don't know. I saw some naked lady in Santa Monica just walking down the street, and I told the police there's a naked lady on the street, and they were like, "Okay." So
I think I saw that same
care.
naked lady.
She was like 75.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yep. I saw her in Santa Monica and Venice.
Wow.
Yeah, I think she just,
She's
free.
But
She's free.
anyway, what I was trying to say is that the greatest freedom that we have is our right to vote for our representatives, people that we want to make our bills. And basically Republicans want to take that away. Like they want to limit that. Like it's just bullshit. And it drives me insane that they think that it's okay. And like they're also hurting their own constituents, like to limit them as well. But they don't give a shit. It's mind-boggling. So this HR1 has to be passed. The filibuster has to be eliminated. And if fucking Manchin, I hope his constituents will just tell him to go fuck off if he doesn't fucking vote for it. Where is he even from anyways? Do you know, Mark?
West Virginia.
West Virginia.
Yeah.
It's like that Kelly Clarkson song. Mm-hmm. A moment like this, some people wait a lifetime for a moment like this. And I think greater words have never been sung by a more beautiful blossoming woman.
But if
she was quite stunning when she was younger.
Yes.
Yeah.
She had those chunky blonde early 2000s highlights that were
with the banana clip, like the butterfly banana clips.
The butterfly clips.
But what do you think that in the Senate, how could they water down this bill so that any Republican would go for it? I don't think that they can do anything.
There's nothing you can do. There's nothing you could take out. They hate every part of it because it would make them more likely to lose.
But also, I mean, is there any Democrats, even if they got rid of the filibuster, do you think that Manchin would also vote against it? Like, because aren't there some Democrats they're all 100%.
They're all in favor. There was one Democrat in the House, I forget his name, he was from Mississippi, and he voted against it. And the reason that he gave, really the logic of it, was that he personally benefited from gerrymandering because in Mississippi, they lump all of the Democrats in one district. So in his mind, he's like, I'm in a plus 30 Democratic district. I like my job. I want to stay.
What a fucker, man.
So he was the one guy that voted against it. But all of the Democratic senators are in favor of it.
Yeah. So
I voted.
Vote again. So we basically, we got to get our shit together. I mean, I don't understand why every Republican, no matter how much they hate something, they'll still unite and just be like, yes. Like,
because they like power more than anything else.
We don't have a conscience. We're just going to go by whatever our leader says, and we're just going to go ahead and unite and vote for this as one Borg unit here. But Democrats, and I like that they all have their own voice and their own opinion and whatnot, but you know what? Some of them are just fucking wrong. So they need to come together and realize that they're fucking themselves over. They're all sitting on a giant fucking dildo right now by not passing and not destroying the filibuster, basically.
Is that supposed to be a bad thing or a good thing, Dave?
Well,
right?
Well, if it's really big, I'm talking about those ones that are like that big, like 6-inch diameter.
Again, is that supposed to be a good thing or a bad thing? You're not answering the question, Dave.
Depends on who you are. So,
thank you.
We're gonna move on, but I can't get the image of Dave walking naked down his street in North Hollywood shooting a gun. Like just with like a a beer in his hand, just dick and balls.
Oh, God.
I'm American. God damn it.
I would play that.
He's got to have boots on, though. He's got to have boots on. Just boots.
Cowboy boots with spurs.
I would play that Rage Against the Machine song, walking down Rodeo with a shotgun while I would do that.
Well, you had to make it violent, didn't you?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a good song. I really do like it.
It is a good song. I do like that.
Fantastic.
All right, let's move on.
All right. I wish we had the rights to it and I would play it right now, but we don't.
We're going down Rodeo. Shotgun people say they haven't seen a black man since their grandparents bought one.
That was great. That was fantastic.
Thank you.
Christine, classically trained, dramatic mezzo-soprano over here.
Wonderful rendition.
I mean, it's like Zach De La Rocha is right here, right? Huh? Okay, I'm losing it tonight. Sorry.
The theme of last week's CPAC event was America Uncanceled. And it was that's the real theme. And it was every bit the grievance bitch fest that you might assume it would be. There was virtually no mention of COVID or discussion of Biden's COVID relief plan, but there was a lot of talk about illustrations being taken out of Dr. Seuss books and transgender potatoes. The whole event culminated in a 90-minute speech by Trump, who once again claimed that he won the election and then threatened to run again in 2024.
So, but when you say threaten, like, what is like, I'm gonna run, just watch me do it.
It's a threat to me.
That's a threat to me. That's a credible threat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I've used that verbiage on purpose there.
But I thought that like he was just saying, I'm gonna run, or is he just being like, if you don't do what I want, I'm gonna run.
I mean, in my mind, it's the same thing.
Okay, good.
It's like, if you don't anoint me on a golden calf, as they did at CPAC with a golden statue, I will run
not
again.
even a good golden statue. He had fucking like Rocky Balboa trunks and a goddamn magic wand. Like, what the fuck is going on?
And wasn't there like something in the Bible about false idols or am I crazy?
Calves, craven images. I mean, it's one of the 10 commandments. Don't follow craven images. Like, along with don't covet your neighbor's ass, which is also one of them. But anyway, sorry. Mark,
according to the straw poll there, 55% of Republicans would vote for Trump in the primary again were he to run, which he will if he's not dead or in jail. Dave, do you have any fear of Trump potentially running and winning the presidency again?
You know, I feel that I'm very confident that Trump will not be able to run. Like, either we can pass the 14th Amendment, after HR 1, all this bullshit blows over with that. Hopefully we can pass that. The Senate goes after enabling the 14th Amendment to allow him to disallow him to run for office because he participated in an insurrection, an act of violence against the government to try and overthrow it by force. Which, if you are anybody who has a security clearance, anybody who's in office, if they participate in such an action, they cannot hold clearance, they cannot hold office, and so all they got to do is just enact that and vote on that, and then he can't run. That's the easiest way. 2, I believe that he will be put in jail somehow. Like, there's 4 independent investigations going on against him, or 5? Is there 4 or 5?
A lot.
There's even more than that.
Yeah. Well, right now, the grand jury. There's been 4 investigations where they have subpoenaed or got with a grand jury. They just got with a grand jury. Come on, grand jury, give me what you want. But they I mean, you got Manhattan, you got Georgia, you got federal. As soon as Merrick Garland's he's confirmed, right?
Not yet.
Not yet.
No.
Oh, once he is confirmed, he will go. Like, he's going to go after Trump, and they're going to press charges. But it's going to take a while. But I really feel that it's something that he can. That he will be thrown in jail for. I mean, there's so many.
Do you think they're going to continue to exert that energy to try to make that happen?
They got to.
I feel like it's going to get to a point where it's going to be an out of sight, out of mind. Like, it's still kind of fresh in the mindset. it's going to come to a point where the facts are going to get convoluted. People are going to start, moving on to other things. There's going to be confusion in all sorts of different areas. I feel at some point they're just going to slowly just be on the back burner. It's not even going to be a priority anymore.
I feel if they let up, they're not going. It'll get worse. Look at our history. I mean, look what Hitler did. It was a failed insurrection. 10 years later, he came back. He ran again. And the Nazi Party prevailed. He became the Führer or whatever. And so, look at our history. If we do not quash this right now, like if we don't put a stop to this shit, if we don't go after all these people who had some type of say or some type of participation in this, it will fuck us over. If not Trump, another person who's more competent, who's more actually knows what he's doing, is not a fucking idiot, is going to swoop in and basically become a fucking dictator of this country. Democracy will be done as we know it. And
could it be a woman, Dave?
Maybe.
Maybe Nikki Haley.
I mean, yeah.
Maybe
or
Christine
Ivanka
Tarbet.
Trump.
what's the girl from G.I. Joe Cobra, where that one chick with the eye patch? She's going to come in here. But
that was an esoteric reference.
I don't know. I watched a lot of cartoons when I was a kid. But like, sorry, going back to your original question, Mark, of do you think that Trump can win? I don't think that he will. Either he's going to be in jail, the 14th Amendment's going to be enacted, or he's just going to be too fucking crazy. But
I think he's gonna be dead.
he could be dead too. I mean, he's like, God.
Oh man, I would throw a party.
Oh my God.
Wouldn't you?
Oh,
Wouldn't you be so pumped?
Yeah. We've had a few comments from people, and it's and I think for the shout out about the ESPN for politics, and I do like that a lot. Thank you. But yeah, so I don't know. Does that answer your question? I think I freaking covered that, right? No?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Yeah, you got to
How
do
about
something.
you guys? Are
Yeah.
you? I mean, a part of me is like, yeah, run again. We united against you. We took you out. But like, if he won again, that would just be so terrifying.
Well, like with HR1
yeah, no,
being not passed, with voting suppression in, then
Voter suppression.
yeah, maybe voter suppression. Maybe he would win again. Like it's
No, it's a nightmare that I wake up sweating from.
yeah. But what
No,
boggles
you're right. If they don't get this bill through, that's gonna set I think it's gonna have a really huge snowball effect, because that's gonna set a huge precedence.
yeah,
for the
going
future,
back to
I think it's long term. It's the most important bill that's going to be voted on this year.
God, it's huge. So I really don't want them to try and push it through. Like they need to take the right steps to get this passed. But shit, I was going to say about Trump. It was that I lost it. All right, sorry. Go ahead.
It's okay.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
think
all
you ever had it, Dave.
No, I didn't. I never had it. I never had it.
I'm just kidding. I should be
That's what
nicer.
she
It's your
said.
birthday.
It's my birthday.
It's your birthday.
Yay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll jog my mind there. What were you gonna say, Mark?
That's pretty much it.
Oh, okay.
You guys want to move on to the rants?
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Surely.
Why not?
Rants.
Drink.
We do a segment here called "Who Should Fuck Off," where you can just tell anyone in the world of politics who you want to fuck off. So Maynard, you are our guest. Who would you
Oh,
like
my
to
goodness.
fuck off?
Oh man, who do I like to fuck off? Oh damn, that's a tough one. I feel on the spot now.
No, if you don't have one,
I'm not one for telling people to fuck off.
No, you're a very nice guy.
No?
You're one of the nicest people I know.
Yeah.
How about
Oh, Christine, who do you want to fuck off? Maybe I'll
Oh,
bounce
I
off.
have to-
I want to gauge how destructive you are first.
well, let's be honest, that's actually one of my top hobbies. So opposite of you. No, I'm gonna go. Oh gosh, this is so hard. I think I'll go with Trump for getting vaccinated in secret.
Yeah.
That
Good one.
that was, first of all, because I know QAnon people in my life. who are not getting the vaccine because, well, Mr. Trumpy Trump said no. And of course, they're going to say, obviously, the media is lying. He actually didn't. But the fact that he got it right away in secret with Melania
It's Melania.
And I don't have
Melania.
it. I haven't gone anywhere. And I'm losing my mind. And I want the vaccine. And the fact that fat, non-mask wearing, orange bloated, smelly butt. There, I said it.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa, smelly butt.
Got it and pretended he didn't get it. Well, that's my choice for today. He can take his vaccine and shove it. Okay, I don't know. That's who though. Trump.
Nice.
All right. That's okay. So that got me. That guy. Yeah, Trump said that's it. I don't know if I give you credit for that one because that's an easy one. Trump can fuck off all the time, right? I know. He's been the vote for the past 5 years. This one would be. I guess it's still within the political vein, because it's part of Trump's support group. And I was just watching this the other day, and I was just cracking up. And I just started rewatching hella Dave Chappelle episodes because it was so funny. But the Proud Boys leader, Enrique Tarrio, he can fuck off.
Yeah.
He can fuck off. He can fuck off in so many ways. And I wish Dave Chappelle could to fuck off. Y'all remember the Dave Chappelle skit of the black white supremacist?
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah.
So funny. Oh,
Here
God.
we have Enrico Tarrio over here as the head of the Proud Boys. This I don't know what Latin country he's from, but wherever he's from should completely disown him because he can never associate with them ever again. But he could fuck off. I was watching the interview that he did, and it was the most laughable thing. I don't know if you guys all watched it, but it was straight comedy. They were talking about the insurrection, obviously at the Capitol, and the Proud Boys' involvement and their relationship with Trump, and he was speaking on all of that. And at one point, he completely ratted on himself and talked about how he had spoken to a grand jury. And then the interviewer came back and was like, wait, hold up. Did you say you spoke to a grand jury? And then he was like, yeah. So I had. I was like, this guy's an informant. This guy's a straight informant. And then on top of that, he clearly hadn't been to the dentist in at least 15, 20 years. The whole bottom row of his teeth were like completely yellow. He had one tooth that was like going like this.
Summer teeth. Don't go that way. Don't go that way.
Yeah. So he was on my mind, so he can fuck off.
Nice.
Dave, who should fuck off?
George Abbott, the governor for Texas, who's going to reopen the state 100%. No masks. Everything's going back to normal, like COVID never happened, just because rates are somewhat dropping, just because no one's gathering for holidays anymore, and people are taking vaccines, but it's still not enough. There's so many goddamn variants coming up right now with this virus. It is, I mean, it's not like it mutates. This will be around for the rest of our lives, basically, in our lifetime at least. It's interesting, COVID with children, like how they can't get it. Is it going to be prevalent when they get older? Are they building up the antibodies right now so that any new variants come up that they actually will be immune to it as they get older? Is this something that's just going to affect this generation? There's a lot of stuff that we don't know about it, but right now, opening up a state 100% with no fucking restrictions, bad idea. Like Joe Biden, I can't fathom Republicans who try to say that he's doing a bad job. Like, he cares, and there's enough vaccines in the country right now for everybody. Trump decided to not get 100 million vaccines when he was in office. He turned them down and just thought that it would go away, and then he gets vaccinated. It's just like, he doesn't give a shit about anybody but himself. He fucking wants us all to die. Like, and so Biden actually has a plan, and it's working. Like, cases are dropping. But the plan is not to reopen right now, and the fucking Republican governors are trying to say that, oh, well, fuck Biden. We don't care. He's going to screw us all over. We're going to reopen 100%. Well, guess what, guys? You're going to go and fuck us all over. Your cases are going to go up, and these crazy variants are going to happen. It's going to mutate, and then the vaccine's going to be less effective against these new variants that are coming out, and you're going to fuck us. And so we're going to have to start getting vaccines, once a year or once every 8 months, something like that. They're going to have to make new vaccines over and over again, like they do with the flu vaccine. They have to say, oh, which variant is going to be more prevalent this season, and they have to make a vaccine just for that. And we have to go get a fucking COVID shot along with our goddamn flu shot every fucking year. And guess what? There's going to be a lot more deaths. Yes, there's deaths from flu, but there's going to be a lot more deaths from COVID. And that's just what we're going to have to live with for the rest of our fucking lives, just because fucking George Abbott can't fucking follow a goddamn fucking just mask mandate. Go fuck yourself, George Abbott.
Well, he has to. Oh, sorry. I was going to say he has to. I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm talking.
It's all right. Go ahead, guys.
That's all you, Christine. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say he has to distract from freezing children to death.
Yeah. This is the
I was
worst
just being a little bit of
fucking
quippy-quip.
Governor. He's just like, oh, you know what? We're just going to let all the energy companies just be privately owned and just, people who can't afford fucking heating's going to die, and those who can are going to have to pay $10,000 for it, and we're going to blame everything on the Green New Deal that is not even a thing.
That was the best Abbott impression I've ever heard.
Is that how he sounds?
It's like a mid-Atlantic accent at the start there.
Right.
A little Catherine
It was pretty bad. It was pretty bad.
You say back in the 30s.
It's so crazy because even with that speak, while we're on that topic, there was so much push. They use that as it's one opportunity now. It's like, we're going to get at all these natural resource pushers. We're going to get at everything, all the climate change people. We're going to get at them now because of this, everything that was happening. And we're going to, because they try to make it blame on that was our dependence on natural resources as well as the cause of the whole energy crisis. It was so freaking ridiculous. If anybody understands anything about the history of Texas in particular, when it comes to not just energy, but a lot of different things. Luckily, there were a lot of things federally that had to be overpassed in order to not have Texas kind of fully be its own independent country. But basically, they've been acting as their own kind of independent states in a number of areas. And that's the whole reason that led to this. Why is Texas the only state that's not connected to the national power grid? Why? There's a reason behind that.
Maynard. Remember the Alamo. I mean, they lost.
I have a bipartisan fuck off. First of all, Ron Johnson, senator from Wisconsin, can fuck off because today on the Senate floor, he made the Senate clerks read the entire American Rescue Plan out loud, which I believe is 628 pages, just so he could delay a vote for one day and be a prick. It was such a prickish move that I don't think any of the other senators stayed. They asked Senator Mike Braun of Indiana, and he said, yeah, I think that's more his thing. So that was how they felt about it. Joe Manchin can fuck off. I know we talk a lot about him. Everybody does. But he is just emblematic of how people in D.C., just in general, with some exceptions, are out of touch with working class people. He's talking about Biden stood firm on his $400 a week unemployment benefits, and I'm glad he did. Manchin was one of the ones who wanted to keep it at $300, and he was saying, and it's one of those things where it's like, oh, but we're gonna give people an incentive not to work, and then we're gonna open up, and there's gonna be customers there, and there won't be any workers, and it's like, first of all, that's not how unemployment works.
Not at all.
No.
Nobody on unemployment's like, yes, I love being on unemployment. I can do nothing.
Oh, no, I love
money.
being on unemployment. I'm not going to.
Unemployment was really good, especially if your unemployment back in like June, July.
You got that 600. Yeah.
But like when your employer calls you back, as mine did repeatedly, you have to go back. You can't just be like, no, you know what? I'm good. I'd rather sit on my ass. Then you lose your unemployment. Also, people aren't stupid. They want to line up jobs before the unemployment benefits, and because there's a limit to them. So people aren't going to sit on their ass and then September be like, oh shit, I'm out of money. Like, and it's just all of these fucking assholes on Capitol Hill that have been there are millionaires. They're totally out of touch. Christine, you talked about Mitt Romney and the $10 an hour thing. Based on his 2012 presidential campaign, I'm not sure he knows better. He's totally out of touch. Yeah. He's been a multimillionaire for decades. So they can all go fuck off. We need new leadership. Make Ilhan Omar president. I don't know was she born in Somalia? I don't know. Whatever. Make one of them president. Make one of the squad president.
I'll do it.
Yeah, Christine Tarbet for
Make Christine Tarbet president.
2028.
And that's how we'll end the show. Make Christine Tarbet president.
Tarbet.
Been a pleasure, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good night. Hey, shout out to Rocky Joe. Thank you so much for watching and making comments. I really appreciate it.